Most freelancers are bleeding 40% of their income to hidden inefficiencies they don't even realize exist. I spent 3 years tracking every billable minute to find the exact threshold where exhaustion ends and profit actually begins. You aren't just undercharging, you're trapped in a cycle of diminishing returns. The psychological shift I discovered didn't just increase my rate, it fundamentally broke my dependence on the hourly clock. Grab a glass of water, get comfortable, and let's get into the mechanics of what your time is actually worth. Most people think of their hourly worth based on what their employer pays them or what their local market averages for their job title. That is the fundamental mistake. Employers pay for the minimum required to keep you from leaving, not the actual value you generate. If you are a graphic designer charging $50 an hour, you are pricing yourself based on your competition, not your capacity to deliver results. Think about the last time you were truly productive. You probably didn't bill based on hours. You billed based on the problem you solved. We need to flip the script. Your hourly rate should reflect the total annual revenue you aim to generate for your life, divided by your peak productive hours. Let's start with an easy win, the true cost audit. You cannot price your time until you know how much of it you are actually wasting. Take a blank sheet of paper and track every single activity you perform for one full week. Be granular. Every email, every meeting, every scroll through social media. You will likely find that you are spending upwards of 20 hours a week on maintenance tasks that could be automated, delegated, or deleted. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that executives spend about 28% of their time reading and answering emails. You're making $50 an hour, you are essentially paying yourself $14 an hour to clear your inbox. That is a massive drain on your earning potential. Stop doing it. Once you isolate those low value tasks, you create the space to focus on the high leverage work that actually commands a premium price. You might be thinking, okay, I've cut the fluff, but how do I raise the rate? This brings us to the second point, value based anchoring. Instead of telling a client or employer your hourly rate, focus on the project outcome. If you are a consultant, don't say your rate is $200 per hour. Say your project fee is $5,000 to save them $20,000 in inefficiencies. I had a friend, Mark, who was a freelance web developer. For years, he struggled to charge more than $60 an hour. Then he shifted his language. He started telling clients that his custom checkout flow reduced cart abandonment by 15%, which translated to an extra $40,000 in annual revenue for the business. Suddenly, that $5,000 project fee felt like a bargain. The hourly rate became irrelevant because the value was undeniable. You need to stop selling time and start selling results. When you anchor your price to the value you create, you stop being an expense and start becoming an investment. If this is clicking for you, hit the subscribe button. I release deep dives like this every single week to help you master the business of being you. And stick around, because the next method I'm going to share is the one that completely changed my own approach to pricing. All right, here is the one I have been saving for you. It's called the capacity constraint method, and it is the single most powerful way to command top tier pricing. Most people price their time based on how much they want to work. You need to price your time based on how much you can work before you hit a wall. Imagine your calendar is a finite container. If you have 40 hours a week and you fill them all with low paying tasks, you have zero capacity to take on high paying opportunities when they inevitably arise. The goal is to aggressively increase your price until you are only working 25 hours a week on your most impactful tasks. By artificially constricting your own capacity, you force your brain to prioritize the highest value work. This is exactly how top tier consultants and artists function. They don't have more hours in the day than you do. They just have a much higher floor for what they are willing to do with those hours. Consider the story of a successful copywriter I know named Sarah. She was drowning in work, charging $75 an hour. She was exhausted, burnt out, and constantly frustrated. She decided to implement a hard cap. She told all her clients that she was moving to a project-only model, and her minimum rate for any project would be $2,000. She lost half her clients overnight. It was terrifying. But within 3 months, she was making twice as much money working half the time. She freed up her schedule, which allowed her to seek out larger clients who were looking for high-end strategy, not just fast content. Her constricted capacity turned into her greatest competitive advantage. The math here is simple but brutal. If you are busy, you are likely too cheap. If you are fully booked, you are definitely too cheap. The moment you are booked solid, your price should automatically increase by 20%. It's a signal to your market that you are in high demand and that your time is a scarce resource. Let that sink in for a second. Most people treat time as a commodity that they have to sell in bulk. You need to start treating it as a rare asset that you only rent out to those who truly value the outcome. Once you see it this way, you can't unsee it. The hourly clock doesn't dictate your value. You dictate the value of your hour. So there you have it. You now have the three pillars of high value time management: the true cost audit to stop the bleeding, value based anchoring to shift the conversation, and capacity constraint to ensure you are always being paid for your highest potential. Remember, you aren't just selling hours, you are selling your perspective, your problem solving capability, and the years of experience that led you to this moment. If you got real value from this, share it with someone who is currently trapped in the trading time for money cycle. Hit the like button so the algorithm knows this helped, and subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown on mastering your professional output. I've got something coming next week that's going to help you automate your outreach process, which pairs perfectly with everything we covered today. See you in the next one. Think about your next client interaction. Think about the question you're going to ask when they push back on your price. You aren't going to defend your hourly rate anymore. You are going to defend the value you deliver to their bottom line. That is a completely different conversation, and you're going to win it. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Your time is finite. Don't waste it on things that don't move the needle for your life or your business. Start treating your time like the expensive, non renewable resource that it actually is, and watch how quickly your entire financial picture shifts. This isn't just theory, this is the practical path to reclaiming your agency. Go back, audit your week, clear the noise, and start charging for the value you deserve. You've got the tools. Now put them to work. This is where the real growth starts. And it starts the second you decide that your time is worth more than the minimum someone is willing to pay. You are the architect of your own value. Don't let someone else draw the blueprints. Build your worth intentionally, 1 hour at a time, until that hour becomes the most valuable asset in your entire portfolio. You can do this. I've seen it work for hundreds of others, and it will work for you too. Just keep the focus on the value, keep the capacity tight, and keep moving toward that higher rate. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just a distraction from your true earning potential. And you are better than that. You have far more to offer than just your raw labor. You have expertise, you have insight, and you have a unique way of solving problems that nobody else can replicate exactly. Start owning that. Start charging for it. Stop apologizing for the cost of your expertise and start demonstrating why that cost is the best investment your clients will ever make. The shift happens in your mind first, and it shows up in your bank account. Make the decision today and stick to it, no matter how scary it feels at first. The results are worth every moment of the effort.